Hello friends, and welcome to Take Two for this Wednesday, the 15th of July, 2020. It's hump day, so I hope you're having a good one. It's also halfway through the month already. How did that happen? Wow, isn't that something? Well, I'm Jeannie, by the way, and I just want to ask you a question that we addressed on Monday, and that was where we were talking about, instead of mad dashing, taking your life in a strolling way. Have you given that some thought this week? Have you been strolling through this week as we stroll through July? Well, I hope you are, and I hope you've learned something from it and will continue to. Well, today I'd like to talk to you just a little bit about the importance of diligence and perseverance. Now, think about when you start school, like say maybe high school or college, and you have that first day as a freshman, and you know that the day is coming where you'll put on that cap and gown and you will be a graduating senior. So you persevere and you press on with diligence. Sometimes there's some setbacks, but you know that at the end of that race, there's going to be a finish line, and you'll be able to put credentials behind it or hang a diploma on your wall and that sort of thing. I just got the news that some old friends of mine from years ago I've known them since their little girl was 2, and she just posted on Facebook that she just got accepted to a nursing program. I'm so thrilled for her. I'm just so happy that she can do this, because this is something that's been on her heart. Even as a child, she wanted to grow up and be a nurse or a doctor or something like that. So I'm so glad she knows now that there's a road ahead of her. It's going to be years before she can be officially a nurse, you know? So wow, I mean, she knows that there's going to be a great deal of perseverance and diligence. But you know, a lot of us will know that there's that beginning and then there's that finish line. But what about those of us who have something that there's never going to be a finish line to? Like, for example, I'll give you an example of a dear friend of mine, Joanna, who she, through a set of unusual circumstances, she and her husband ended up having full custody of their mentally challenged grandson when he was just a baby. Now, they went ahead and they took on this responsibility with great seriousness, and they were more than happy to take this on because they knew it was something they needed to do. And her husband died about 3 years ago. So she now in her 70s is taking care of her mentally challenged grandson, who is now in his around 30, maybe 31 years old. So here she has this responsibility. She's getting older, and she knows that he will always he's in fairly good health, otherwise a few challenges, but primarily it's just the mentally challenged, the lack of mental capacity. That's not typical, of course, or normal, whichever way you want to call it. But of course he is limited, and he does need to have someone with him all the time. So here she is now with this young adult grandson that she's raising. And she knows that he'll probably outlive her, so she knows there's no finish line here. But what is she learning along the way? Well, there's one thing for sure Joanna has learned as she's taking care of Gregory all these years, and that is this. She has learned to persevere. She has learned to be diligent. Now, she knows that there's breaking points sometimes, and her church family and her friends around her, because she has virtually no other family, they have been so kind to her and so good to her to give her a break when she needed it and that sort of thing, because it's hard to keep up that pace with someone who has the needs that Gregory has. But she has persevered and been diligent, and it has never ceased. See, there's really basically two kinds of perseverance and diligence, and that is where you go in and you know that there's an ending, so you work towards it because you know there's going to be this great finish line at the end. Like, for example, starting school and getting your diploma. You know that, okay, there's going to be bumps and bruises along the way, and hills and valleys, but you know there's a beginning and an ending, if you will. And then there's that ongoing, nonstop, it will never end, but what can I learn in the meanwhile type of season that people have in their lives. Either way, there's a common denominator, and that is this. There must be a measure of diligence and perseverance in order to get through those seasons. Now, I'm going to encourage you, boys and girls, to remember that whether it's something small, like maybe a small project you have to do that's only going to take a few days or a few weeks or a few months, or if it's something like Joanna and Gregory having to care for him all the way probably till her last breath, it will involve diligence and perseverance. So ask yourself, do I have that diligence and perseverance? Well, as I talked to you in the beginning of the week about the importance of, instead of making your life a mad dash, rather to make it a stroll, because you could take things in stride, that was often something that you can think of in conjunction with that. If as long as you can walk through this life of yours as a stroll, taking things in stride, then that diligence and perseverance will be important components to make that happen without driving yourself mad, okay? Now listen, go be a blessing to somebody today. You may end up being the only one who is. Be a Joanna, will you? Be a Joanna as she has been to all these people around her, particularly her grandson Gregory all these many years. Don't forget to persevere, and don't forget to be diligent and be that blessing. Hey, subscribe to my YouTube channel, won't you? JeanneSigler. Hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You'll be notified every time I post another Take Two. Have a terrific and fabulous hump day, and I will see you on Friday for my Unsung Hero of the Week. I love ya. Bye-bye.